My name is Erica. I live in Deerfield Beach in North Broward County. I'm 80 years old. I've lived in Florida now for about 10 years. I was diagnosed with lung cancer about 5 years ago, and I was doing very well with it, actually. I was feeling fine, and I had taken what's called a targeted therapy, which is oral pills. They say it's not chemo, but it is pretty powerful. And I then stopped because I couldn't tolerate the side effects. I got radiation and I still had lung cancer, but it was stable. And they also had COPD. And I've had that for about 20 years, but it was also relatively stable. I also had spinal stenosis and osteoporosis and arthritis. So I can't walk all that well, even without all these other diseases, but I could walk a little. And I certainly could swim, which is the thing I enjoy most. And then I got a horrible case of pneumonia last October. I was in the hospital for about a week, and it was somehow involved with or caused by a staph infection. So it was particularly bad. And I had a pleural effusion, meaning that there was fluid in my lung. When they tested the fluid, they found malignant cells in it. So I went through that hospitalization and came home with a drain where the fluid was drained. And I was also on IV antibiotics for 6 weeks, which I had administered myself. And then I had to have a surgery to remove the rest of the fluid from my lung because it wasn't going away by itself. And the drain that I had really wasn't working. So I had a surgery which kind of plastered your lung against your chest wall so the fluid can't get into the pleura, which is the space between the lung and the chest wall. And I came out of the surgery substantially weakened. I was on oxygen most of the time, and I was very weak. And I don't know, I tried taking that medication again, and I just couldn't tolerate it. It was just unbearable. And it was a hell of a lot worse than whatever the lung cancer was doing to me. So I stopped taking it, and I knew that this COPD wasn't going away. In fact, pneumonia had accelerated substantially. So I'm oxygen on and off, and I'm on a lot of inhalers, nebulizers. And my main problem was I had no one to take care of me because I'm alone, basically. I have one foster daughter who comes to visit occasionally, but she lives up north. I'm divorced. I have no biological children. So basically, I was sitting alone in my house, and that hospitalization totally freaked me out. I realized that if something happened to me, they were going to send me back to the hospital. And that's what I wanted to avoid above all things. And I knew I have a terminal diagnosis. I needed help. So I called hospice and they came in, and I feel safe and reassured having them. They've been wonderful to me. And hospice is great. And a nurse comes once a week and she's lovely, and they send me medication. I don't have to worry about going to 10 different doctors to get all my medications. And I even got a nice chaplain. I got a social worker who's trying to help me get more home health aid. I have a home health aide who I pay privately, but she only comes twice a week for 2 hours each time. It's not really enough. But it has occurred to me that I can't do this forever. I don't want to sit here alone day after day for the rest of my life, however long that may be. I am in a Facebook group with hospice caretakers and patients, and the description of what people go through dying is terrifying. And I don't want to go through that, and I don't see why I should have to go through it. It's just not right. And I know at some point that'll be my only way out. And I really envy people who live in states that have medical aid and dying. That would be so reassuring if I could know that was available to me. And it's really terrifying. And medical aid and dying, I think, is only compassionate treatment and not forcing people like me to go through hideous pain. I'm very much in favor of the legislation in Florida. I wish I lived in one of the states that had medical aid in dying, but I don't. And it would be wonderful if Florida became one of those states.